pre-draft visit is in the works, and Jalen Carter is coming to Philadelphia.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
What is going on, guys? Your boy Joey SHAKESQUAD coming to you guys with a video now. So yeah, the rumors are out there. The rumor is true that Jalen Carter will have a pre-draft visit with the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, the 10th overall pick, being at a really good spot right now. And I feel like Jalen Carter to be a Philadelphia Eagle is probably meant to be. And obviously, we can go through why the Eagles have to move up, or maybe he won't be there at 10. But I have a good feeling he will be, unless the Eagles do have to move up a couple of spots, whatever the case may be. But this could be the pick at 10. This could be the pick, at least the first pick for the Philadelphia Eagles, regardless of what move they do make. Okay, I kind of want to go into like the background of what's going on with Jalen Carter and what's really been going on with him, with the misdemeanors. Got 2 misdemeanors right now, and nothing crazy. I think he got caught for speeding not too long ago. The guy's been under a lot of strain, okay? And there's some really cruel people out there that are really painting him to be the monster that he's really not. And it really pisses me off in some aspects, because this is what the media does. Their job is to get clicks on their articles and literally try to make some type of big story that's not even true. Obviously, reckless driving, seeing somebody pass away in a vehicle, and it's the worst thing possible. Yeah, he went to his pro day. He went to the combine, didn't do any workouts or nothing. And if he was really, if he was in a lot of trouble right now, he wouldn't even be at the combine. He'd be worried about court dates. He'd be worried about not even being able to play football at this point. Probably wouldn't even show up if he didn't even have a chance to play football at all. Even at the pro day, yeah, it was pretty bad. I kind of was a little worried after that, because, apparently he gained 9 pounds. He looked sluggish. He didn't look great. He didn't look great at his pro day. And your pro day is like you're at your own stadium, you have teams flying to come see you, and you put up something like that, in front of all of these, scouts, and, it didn't look great. He cramped up. It just didn't look good. And I think we need to give him a break, because, he's got a lot going on right now. He's got a lot going on. I feel like, I think the Eagles would have a really good support system. Okay, you got Jordan Davis here. You got Nakobe Dean here. Georgia Bulldogs in the building already, starting on this defense. And we know what Jalen Carter could do on the field. He's the best DT in this draft. One-on-one matchups. He's a monster. He's a punisher. Just those one-on-ones that he gets and those matchups that he gets. He's just really good pursuit in the backfield. Great violent hands. You name it, the guy could do it all. Is very quick first step off the line. Okay, we know what Jalen Carter could do, but if he was in a lot of trouble, guys, this would have been he wouldn't even have a pro day right now if he was expected to be doing anything that badly. But sometimes bad habits lead into other bad habits, and I think that's pretty much what happened. I think he's just made a few bad decisions. I'm not going to shoot it down. There's some real cruel people out there, but it's like, oh, he's this, he's that. It's a risk. The whole draft is a risk regardless. You know what I mean? Like, the draft is a risk. Free agency is a risk, paying a lot of money for a player that, hopefully is going to play good for the amount of years he's getting paid for. Like, it's everything is a risk for a reason. And that's what makes the draft really exciting, because you don't, you kind of figure out, you don't know what you're going to get in this draft. And you might think that players are higher when they should be, or or shouldn't be in the first round, or shouldn't be a 4th, 5th round pick. Or that's what makes the draft exciting, because it's all what ifs, and really everything is smokescreen, and that's what makes it probably the best time of the year is the damn draft. It really is. But Jalen Carter and what you have in this defensive line right now, yeah, defensive end looks pretty good right now. They could add another body. I got 2 players on the defensive line, especially on the edge, that had double-digit sacks last year. Jordan Davis played really well, and obviously has to work on his conditioning and really has to turn out to be that guy for us. I expect his pass rush to get a little bit better, but not by much, just because these first-round picks, I don't expect them to get double-digit sacks in their first year. If Jalen Carter's drafted by the Eagles, I'm not expecting him to get double-digit sacks. I don't really put too much on a first-round pick in 1 year in his first year. I really don't. getting acclimated, just like when we signed Javon Hargrave. What happened with Javon Hargrave? He came from a 3-4, went to a 4-3 with Jim Schwartz, I think at the time for his first year, and he didn't really play that well. Even in the beginning when he got here, he didn't really play that well. It's going to take some time for him to get used, just being on the NFL level in general. It's a totally different game here. Jordan Davis needs a big year. We all know that. I think, you get that double team with Jordan Davis and you draft Jalen Carter, and Jalen Carter has that one-on-one. It's going to be nice. And whoever's next to him, whether it's Reddick or Graham or whatever, it's going to be a nice line going forward, okay? Even though I think the Eagles still need, 2 spots at DT regardless, because, Fletcher Cox needs more of a rotation. The more snaps he plays, he played 70% of the snaps at one point last season. He's not the same Fletcher Cox anymore, and he was kind of complaining about the amount of snaps that he's in. Jordan Davis got hurt. They signed Linval. They signed Ndamukong Suh, and the rotation was a lot better to where now Cox was only playing maybe 22 to 25% of the snaps, which is a big drop-off, but you conserve these guys every 4 to 5 plays. You conserve their energy, and you get more of a better pass rush when you make those refresh adjustments, which is great. And Milton Williams is to me, he's been nothing but an analytical pick. I think a good player, but I don't see him ever starting for this team in the rotation. I don't see him being the future DT in the front. I just don't see it happening. He was top 5 in analytics, and they drafted him in the 3rd round, and he showed some flashes. He's gotten better every year. But is it enough for me to say that he is a force to be reckoned with as a starter in this league? Definitely not. Not even over time. I think he'll always be a rotational guy. Telapalapuli, I don't know his name. That's another one we have there too. Really good against the run, not much of a pass rusher. So Jordan Davis obviously got to work on conditioning, has really got to amp up what he's doing, drops him a little bit of weight, and I think that's going to be the most important thing. But yeah, I want to see more explosiveness, and obviously his motor has got to get better. Like I said, he was really good against the run. He played so well last season until he had that high ankle sprain, and then he was gone. And then, teams, we weren't loading guys in the box. Teams were running 5+ yards on us to make it that easy because against the run, and these guys were tired out until they signed Linval and Suh. And then, things started to pick up a little bit more. Jordan Davis came back, and it was really good. But I'm kind of just getting to the point of Jalen Carter. People need to chill and relax about it, okay? These things happen with players, off-the-field issues. We heard about these issues before, even free agency happened. We heard that there were teams already kind of passing on Jalen Carter. There's probably teams now passing on him. So who knows? But that could all be a smoke screen as well. I think you have to sacrifice and make and draft him to Philadelphia. I would take that chance because I don't think he's a bad person. I don't think he didn't commit a crime. It's all on the internet, and obviously you can't believe everything that you read. But when it comes to news on actual stuff that has happened to him, he's not arrested for anything. He's not guilty of anything yet. So at this point, he went through a lot of stuff. Watching somebody pass away before his eyes, he went through a lot of stuff. And then having to worry about a combine, having to worry about his pro day, probably barely worked out, probably couldn't even concentrate on doing anything. So I feel like he'll get back to the groove. I feel like he'll do really well. And I think with the offseason with the Eagles, I think he's going to do a really good job. I think he's going to have a really good support system here. I don't think people should take him off the shelf of this draft for the Eagles because of a mistake. And we've all made mistakes, guys. We've all done something stupid, but because everybody knows about it, and it's because this guy could potentially be making millions of dollars, he doesn't deserve to be a first-round pick for that reason. And it is... I don't really believe in that too much, okay? Unless it was something really bad. I mean, at this point, Michael Vick was brought back. Michael Vick signed with the Eagles, and the story about all that and how the fans felt about that. It didn't go great, okay? A man did jail time and came back, got into the league, and had to build himself up from the bottom up all over again. He was on top of the world at one point, made some bad decisions, and then had to build himself back up again to get trust from everybody, especially Philadelphia, especially the Eagles fans. So, like I said, this move is my number one move because I really do want a defensive tackle bad. Bijan Robinson is a dream for me, and if we got him at 10, I'd be ecstatically happy. Trust me, I would be flipping out. But at the end of the day, you need trenches. I get it. And if I was to go draft somebody at 10, if available, and yes, Jalen Carter would be my pick at 10. The Eagles should not take a risk and well, at least not pass up on this opportunity and let him just go down to another team, because I feel like the Philadelphia Eagles are going to regret not drafting this guy. Okay, I understand there's other possibilities out there at DT, but this is what you wanted. This is a luxury pick and a pick of need, really. But you could probably say 50% of it is a luxury pick, because you get a guy like this in your building. I mean, your defensive line is getting a lot younger now, which is good. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, Graham is up there in age. Reddick is still partially young. Sweat is still pretty much young. So you add him into the mix, and yeah, your DT position is perfect. And, if double teams happen to Davis, you have Jalen Carter on those one-on-ones. If they want to double Carter, Davis with the monstrous, what he could do with his size, he has natural power, could take on those one-on-ones easily and be very disruptive. So I feel like it's a win-win for the Eagles to draft him. And I feel like people need to relax on the situation. Like, I can't imagine like going through that, and even if it's his fault or not, whatever the case may be, stupidity that just happens with these guys. And it just happens. Do you know what I mean? So if the Eagles are bringing him on a pre-draft visit, it's not because it's a smokescreen. That's what I can't stand. Fans say, they're just making it look like he's coming, and he might just come. They might act like they have interest, but they don't. Like, who does that? You have 30 visits. You only bring in 30 players before the draft. That's it, on official visits. That's all you have. It might seem like a lot, but it's really not, because there's a lot of players that can have interest in. Jalen Carter this early in the process as the 6th, 7th player. It's a pretty good indication that the Eagles have a lot of interest and feel like this isn't really a big deal. Trust me, there's probably been a lot of teams that called Georgia to find out the background of what's going on with with Jalen Carter, I should say, not Jordan Davis, with Jalen Carter, to find out the background of what's going on with Jalen Carter and what's going on. So I'm getting their names mixed up now because they're going to hopefully be playing next to each other. I've been eyeing this guy for a while, but, I feel like I have a good gut feeling about it. And trust me, if I feel like I need to stay away from something, I stay away from it. This right here, I have a really good gut feeling about it. I feel like he's going to change it around. I feel like this is going to be one of the biggest steals of the draft. And you never know what you're going to have on your hands with Jalen Carter coming to the Philadelphia Eagles next to Jordan Davis as that complementary piece for your football team. So people need to relax. People need to kind of chill out on the whole thing with Jalen Carter. I feel like people are just painting more of a monster out of him, which he is definitely not. It's just he's made some stupid choices. And like I said, everybody has made dumb choices. Trust me, I have plenty of times without thinking sometimes. And that's just, it's just what happens. That's life. That's how you build yourself. If you don't make mistakes, if you don't do something stupid, then if you didn't do something stupid in your life, then I guess you're perfect, then good for you. But if you did, there's nothing wrong with that, because this is how we get stronger. This is how we become better people, is when you learn from those mistakes. You learn from the stupidity that you do. You know what I mean? So I think with this pick, and it can go in a lot of different ways, guys, a lot of different ways with Howie Roseman, what he wants to do, okay, because they've been doing a lot of defense, free agency-wise, barely anything on the offense besides Rashad Penny and Boston Scott. Nothing else, really nothing else for the offense, because the offense is really still intact right now. Defensively, yeah, they can add more pieces to it. Jalen Carter is one of my favorite players, probably I'm just a trench guy. It's like one of my favorite positions. I played this position in high school. I played end, tackle, you name it. I played offensive line as well. So love the trenches, and I think Jalen Carter is going to be an absolute monster in Philadelphia. And I think if he goes to another team, I think we're going to regret it. I think we're going to regret passing on him. But him coming to a pre-draft visit for the Eagles right now, it's a really good sign that they don't care. Not that they don't care about what's going on, but they probably have some information, and everything to them is probably fine. What we hear and what we see on the internet is what kind of makes us go, whoa, my God, we got to stay away from this. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just stupidity. That's just, making mistakes. Jalen Carter just making mistakes, and it was a bad pro day. It wasn't good. It was pretty bad. Like teams were just like, man, like it maybe have helped us at the end of the day to go get him. So when he dropped, it was more of a drop off for us. He could land at 10 immediately, so you never really know at the end of the day. So that's all I really want to say. I know I kind of repeated myself a couple times, but Jalen Carter pre-draft visit, I'm really excited to see, if the Eagles do like him. If they'll probably ask him questions about just obviously about football in general, but they want to get to know him as a person. Obviously Nick Sirianni, you know how he is with what he likes to do. He does this corny stuff, which is not corny. It's cool, that a coach cares that much about his players or players that he's interested in. And there could be legit interest here, guys. I mean, there is. I mean, he's coming on a pre-draft visit. If and this early, it's not like he's the last visit, the 28th, the 29th visit right before the draft. You know what I mean? It's pretty early right now, so it's safe to say the interest is pretty damn high. And I think people need to give Jalen Carter more of a chance. And I'm willing to do that. I feel really good about it. I have a good gut feeling about it. I don't feel like we're going to make a mistake if we go this direction. So let me know in the comment section below what do you guys think about Jalen Carter in general, about his background, what's been going on with him. Do you think the Eagles should pass? Do you think they should stay? Like I said, anyone's opinion I respect. I'm just here to just talk about my opinion. My opinion really doesn't matter that much. So that's just the way it's going. So you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up? Follow slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.